Our final, Bucknell over Lafayette, 35-24, an entertaining back-and-forth game. Let's take a look at our highlights. Remember, this was a early 14-0 lead for the Leopards, Ken. They got off to a great start.
You know, they really did. And again, the touch pass here to Chenoweth for the early score. And about this time, Deshaun Brown, their back that had been looking for a breakout game, busted on the outside for a long 42-yard touchdown run, getting Lafayette off to a 14-0 lead, surprising lead. And we've got a turnover here by Brown that off the option play that results in really was a momentum shift in this game. And then you'll see the touchdown pass there for Bucknell.
Well, that was Andrew Hours, and then remember the interception from Marine, that first of two, but that set up an opportunity for a big play. It ended up resulting in the long touchdown pass.
Again, you see 17-14 halftime score here. Again, the legs of R.J. Nitty, something that we did not anticipate. Also buying some time there with the quick touchdown toss. Puts Bucknell in front in the third quarter.
That was Casslander who caught that touchdown pass. We go to the fourth quarter. They're really kind of an unusual back-and-forth game, but they finally found the big play guy, Will Carter, and this helped break the game loose.
Yeah, they held Carter in check pretty well in this game, and then again you see Nitty there finishing it off with his legs. But all in all, like I said, Bucknell had a little bit too much for Lafayette at the end, but Lafayette has nothing to hang their head about. They played a good college football game today.
Indeed they did, and you know, there was a lot of gambling going on. You could see both of these coaches, when they had an opportunity to try and make a play, it didn't always work, but they were doing everything they had in that bag of tricks to try and find a way to keep drives alive.
Exactly. You know, we talked about it in the booth, the gambling that was going on in the third quarter with you going for it on fourth down and then, faking a punt deep in your own territory. Really things that go against the grain as far as what we had heard about these two coaches, and they were going for it. I mean, they wanted this game. They were pulling out all the stops, and eventually it ends up in Bucknell's favor.
And R.J. Nitty, we talked a little bit about him in the open, what he was able to do through the air today. 15 for 26, but he had 4 touchdown passes, 241 yards. It's really hard to pick an MVP. I thought there were a number of guys who stepped up, but he has to be in the consideration.
Well, it's really impressive when you consider he had 6 touchdown passes for the season coming into this game, and then, of course, he had 7 interceptions. So R.J. Nitty, very impressive today. Again, the backup running backs for Bucknell, both DeMauro and DeFloria, came up big. DeMauro having 107 yards rushing and only 12 carries.
And C.J. Williams, he was the guy who went out early. He was their leading ball carrier, more than 500 yards, so that forced DeMauro and DeFloria. And if you would have told the Bucknell staff and Coach Susan before the game you were going to lose Williams early, it might have been a tough argument to see where they would get to 35 points, but a number of guys contributed.
Well, again, when your offensive line was blocking like the Bucknell offensive line was, and when you run as hard as DeMauro and DeFloria do, you're going to have some success. And again, those two guys combining had 160 yards rushing in a little over 3 quarters, so that's a great job by 2 backup running backs.
Its totals pretty similar, 412 yards for Bucknell, 403 yards for Lafayette. And the turnovers, we talked about them. There were a couple for each team, but really it was the fourth down. Each team had opportunities on fourth down. It was 0-4 for Lafayette, 0-2 for Bucknell, but the Bison made just enough plays to get this 11-point win.
They did, and Lafayette was hurt by the penalties. Again, a very a good team coming into the game as far as penalties against. They had 10 penalties for 73 yards, several of them in crucial situations, so that's something that they have to clean up.
Your point, though, on Lafayette, a good one. If they play with this energy and clean up those penalties, they're going to find a way to get a win. I know they've got a bye week before their big game later on in the season, but disappointing where they are right now. But they play with a lot of heart today.
I think the key to the game, and Frank Devaney touched on it at halftime, they are committed to the run. And when you set up the pass with the run, you have some success. I mean, that's the way I was brought up in football. I'm a big believer in the run, setting up the pass, and it was great evidence of that today because this team came alive offensively, and it's all because they established the ground game.
Leopards led 17-14 at the half. They will fall 35-24. I enjoyed it.
Great working with you, Brett. Hope to do it again.
That will do things today from Fisher Stadium here in Easton, Pennsylvania. 35-24, Bucknell with the win over Lafayette, the Bison's first Patriot League win of the season. So for Mike Joseph and Ken Dunnick, I'm Brett Dolan and our entire crew, this has been a presentation of ASN, the American Sports Network.